Now that we've mastered making puff pastry dough from scratch, it's time to use it. Advance to the next level and make 3 easy tarts: an apricot vol au vent, a salted caramel pear tart, and a s'mores tart. I'll grab my first piece of dough from the fridge, which is one of 4 250-gram portions that I've rolled into 8-inch squares. Now I cut this square into 4 pieces. Another great tip when you're working with puff pastry is to give it lots of room on the baking tray because it'll expand and grow. Now everybody loves s'mores, that combination of graham crackers, marshmallows, and milk chocolate. Press down another graham cracker on each and a bit more marshmallow and chocolate. They're supposed to be melted and gooey and sloppy and rustic. This is really the most basic way to use puff pastry, in just the simple squares. So don't worry about precision here. In the other tarts, I'll get a little more precise. And the final step is just a little brush of egg with water. The egg wash adds a nice shine and promotes an even browning on the outside of the pastry. Now I'll just set that aside. The next tarts. We're advancing the puff pastry style. These are going to be the salted caramel pear tarts. You have to think the letter L. A letter L this way and a letter L this way. Not meeting, we don't want to cut a hole out of the middle of the tart, with a little bit of space in between them. So with a paring knife, I draw an L about 1/2 inch in, and then completely opposite to it, another L. And then what you simply do is you fold one over to meet the opposite corner. Now you've got a lovely little frame for your filling and these beautiful ends that when they bake up and the flaky layers sort of shape up and around the tart, you've got a polished looking tart without a lot of effort. The 4 beautiful shells, and now for the filling. I've taken 2 Bartlett pears. They're about medium firm, peeled them and cored them, and now I just simply cut them into slices and I arrange them wholly in the center, and each pear half fits inside. And the toppings are really quite simple. About a tablespoon of brown sugar, top of the tart. No precision needed. Just a tablespoon of whipping cream drizzled right on top. And then you get this beautiful caramel crust around the bottom of it. Oh, it's divine. And then a little bit of egg wash right around the edges of the tart. And I'm a huge fan of that salt-sweet combination. So a little pinch of coarse sea salt. There we go. So now the last tart, the vol au vent. Now, I'm going to make an easy marzipan just from scratch. I start with a 1/4 cup of ground almonds, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then a bit of egg to bind it. For this small amount of marzipan, I really need just 1/2 an egg. What you do to measure 1/2 an egg is break the whole egg, whisk it lightly, and measure out 2 tablespoons. And just a touch of almond extract. And you just stir this to make it a simple little paste. So I'll set that aside. A little more advanced in terms of handling the puff pastry. So classic vol au vent shape is round. And so I'll take a cookie cutter and cut 4 discs and put these on my baking tray. Dock the bottoms with a fork. I'm doing a double layer of puff pastry around the filling, so I want to make sure that bottom stays in place, nice and flat. Now I cut out 4 more circles. Then, with a cutter that's just a little bit smaller than the big one, I cut a hole out of each, so I have a little ring of pastry, like so. But before I put that on, I use my egg wash. If you're ever trying to overcome the challenge of a leaky tart because you have ripe fruit or a wet filling in there, egg wash serves the purpose to help keep everything in because it seals the edges. And the 2 layers of puff pastry stick together, but also the filling won't leak out. Here are our little vol au vents. Then a spoonful of that marzipan we made. And there we go. Then I have apricots. Apricots are one of my favorite fruits to bake with year-round. A single apricot on each. And don't want to forget about that last bit of egg wash. Final little addition for a nice bit of crunch. Just a little turbinado sugar sprinkled right on top of the tart. All 3 of these tarts are ready for the oven. I've preheated it to 375, a nice hot oven. And the tarts take about the same time, each about 25 to 30 minutes. I love how puff pastry transforms in the oven. And look at how that puff pastry has just risen right up. But you can really see the different styles. You've got the rustic s'mores filling, and that beautiful tart shell with the salted caramel tarts. And then the elegant vol au vent style with the marzipan and apricot filling.